This is BBC News from London. Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
So it's now been nearly 4 years since Queen Elizabeth passed away, and royal properties and privileges were redistributed shortly afterward. Of course, it seemed like everyone had accepted what they got. That is, until recently. Reports now claim that what Catherine inherited has left Camilla deeply unhappy. What's even more surprising is that this was confirmed by Catherine's lawyer, leaving the royal family wondering why Catherine's inheritance has left Camilla so unsettled. Well, we're about to uncover the full story. But before we do, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out.
What Catherine inherited.
One of the most famous things Catherine, Princess of Wales, got after joining the royal family was the right to wear the Cambridge Lover's Knot tiara. And that's something many believe Camilla had always wanted. It is one of the most recognized royal tiaras in the world, and many people still connect it with Princess Diana. The beautiful diamond and pearl tiara was first made for Queen Mary in 1913 by the jeweler Gerard. It later passed to Queen Elizabeth II and became one of the jewels she allowed senior royal women to wear on important occasions. Surprisingly, Catherine's right to wear the lover's knot tiara is only part of the story. There is another royal tradition connected to it that many people didn't even know existed. It was after Catherine became Princess of Wales in 2022 that she gradually became the royal most closely associated with the tiara. Although she does not personally own it, she inherited the privilege of wearing it because of her new position within the royal family. Today, whenever Catherine attends a state banquet at Buckingham Palace or another major royal event, the lover's knot tiara is often the piece people hope to see. But then, that was not the only royal treasure Catherine gained with her new role that Camilla reportedly cherished and had long wished she could call her own. As Princess of Wales, Catherine also gained access to many historic pieces from the royal collection of jewelry. These include diamond necklaces, elegant brooches, pearl earrings, and other priceless pieces once worn by Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mary, and other royal women throughout British history. None of these jewels belongs to Catherine personally. They remain part of the Crown's collection and are carefully looked after for future generations. Still, only a small number of senior working royals are trusted to wear them. That means Catherine now has access to some of the most valuable and historic jewelry in the monarchy, a privilege that reflects her place near the top of the royal family. Among all the jewelry linked to Catherine, there is one piece that stands above the rest. It is Princess Diana's famous sapphire engagement ring. The ring contains a 12-carat blue Ceylon sapphire surrounded by 14 diamonds and was chosen by Prince Charles and Diana Spencer when they became engaged in 1981. After Diana died in Paris in 1997, the ring remained within the family. Years later, Prince William carried it with him during a trip to Kenya, where he proposed to Catherine in 2010. Unlike many of the royal jewels she wears today, this ring belongs to Catherine personally. It is one of the few royal items that became part of her own collection rather than something borrowed from the crown. Every time Catherine wears it, people are reminded of Princess Diana's legacy and the close connection between the two women. This reportedly makes Camilla uncomfortable, considering the role she is widely believed to have played in the breakdown of Charles and Diana's marriage. Another important thing Catherine inherited cannot be placed inside a jewelry box. When she became Princess of Wales, she also stepped into a role that Princess Diana had once made famous around the world. Diana was admired for her work with children, hospitals, homelessness, and people living with HIV and AIDS. Catherine has never really tried to copy Diana, but stepping into the role of Princess of Wales naturally comes with many of the same expectations. Since taking on the title, she has focused much of her work on early childhood development, mental health, family welfare, and supporting young people. Because of that, Many royal watchers feel she has carried forward the caring image Diana became famous for, while still creating her own identity. Some even believe that this has made Camilla feel even more uncomfortable. For years, there have been suggestions that Camilla hoped to enjoy the same level of public affection and acceptance that Diana received. Diana was known around the world as the People's Princess, and millions admired her. Many believe Camilla wanted to earn that same kind of love from the public, but instead, much of that admiration is now directed toward Catherine. That, some say, has been a real disappointment for her. But the public's admiration is only part of the story. Beyond the jewelry and the attention that comes with the role, Catherine also inherited several important titles, responsibilities, and privilege simply because she became the wife of Britain's future king. One of the biggest changes came on the 8th of September 2022, after Queen Elizabeth passed at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. King Charles immediately became monarch. At the same time, Prince William became Prince of Wales, and Catherine automatically became Princess of Wales. It was the first time the title had been used by a royal wife since Princess Diana. Catherine did not receive the title through election or appointment. She became Princess of Wales because she is the lawful wife of the heir to the British throne. It was a historic moment that placed her among the most senior members of the royal family. Her new title also brought her one step closer to another important role. As the wife of Prince William, Catherine is expected to become queen consort when William eventually becomes king. That future position has been part of her royal journey ever since William became first in line to the throne in 2022. While no one knows exactly when that day will come, her future role is already clear. She continues preparing by carrying out more royal duties each year and representing the monarchy at important events both in Britain and overseas. Following Queen Elizabeth's death, Catherine also began taking on patronages that had previously belonged to the late Queen or were reassigned by King Charles. Taking on the role of Colonel of the Irish Guards was another milestone for Catherine. She received the appointment in 2022 after Prince William became Prince of Wales. Since then, she has regularly represented the regiment by attending parades, presenting medals, and meeting its members. Her growing position within the royal family also gave her access to official royal homes. For many years, Catherine and Prince William lived at apartment 1A inside Kensington Palace in London, where they raised their young family. Later, they moved to Adelaide Cottage on the Windsor estate, placing them much closer to Windsor Castle and to Queen Elizabeth II during the final months of her life. These homes are not privately owned by the couple. They belong to the Crown and are allocated according to royal duties. Even so, they became part of Catherine's new life as one of the most senior working royals. When her position changed, so did her place within the constitutional order of the monarchy. Before William became Prince of Wales, Catherine was already an important member of the royal family. After 2022, however, she moved much higher in the royal order of precedence. During state banquets, national ceremonies, and official receptions, she now ranks above most other members of the family. That change reflects her role as the wife of the future king and one of the monarchy's leading public figures. Another responsibility that has become closely linked with Catherine is the Earthshot Prize. Prince William launched the Environmental Award in 2020 to encourage practical solutions to some of the world's biggest environmental problems. Since becoming Princess of Wales, Catherine has taken on a much larger public role in supporting the project. She regularly attends the annual Earthshot Prize Awards, meets finalists, and helps promote the program during royal engagements. Although the prize belongs to William's initiative, Catherine has become one of its strongest ambassadors. She has also taken on many of the ceremonial duties that were once regularly carried out by Queen Elizabeth. Catherine now attends state banquets at Buckingham Palace and joins diplomatic receptions and takes part in national remembrance ceremonies. Still, for all the duties, honors, and royal treasures Catherine has inherited that are said to make Camilla jealous, it is worth remembering that Catherine is not the only royal who has benefited from inheritance within the monarchy. Camilla has also inherited a great deal over the years. That leaves many people wondering why she still appears unhappy with what she has, especially since she now enjoys privileges that once seemed out of reach. Some believe the answer is simple. It is not the titles or the jewelry she wants most, but the deep public affection that Catherine receives. Whatever the truth may be, let's take a look at what Camilla has also inherited. The inheritance of Queen Camilla. As you may already know, Queen Camilla didn't come away empty-handed after Queen Elizabeth's passing, although what came with her new role wasn't exactly what many people expected. When King Charles became monarch on the 8th of September 2022, Camilla stepped into a position that came with centuries of tradition, responsibility, and royal privileges. She didn't inherit Queen Elizabeth's personal belongings, but she did take on many of the rights, duties, and ceremonial honors that come with being the wife of a reigning king. Some of those had once belonged to Queen Elizabeth, while others had been passed down from one queen consort to the next for generations. They completely changed Camilla's place within the royal family. And it all began almost immediately after Queen Elizabeth passed away at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. The moment King Charles became king, Camilla automatically became queen consort. She did not need a separate ceremony or appointment to receive the title, because British royal tradition gives that position to the lawful wife of the reigning monarch. Although people had debated for years about whether Camilla would eventually become queen consort, Queen Elizabeth made her wishes clear in her Platinum Jubilee message in 2022. She said it was her sincere hope that Camilla would be known by that title when Charles became king. That one message put years of speculation to rest, and just a few months later, Camilla officially became queen consort. Her new position also meant she gained the right to use Buckingham Palace as the king's official residence. For generations, Buckingham Palace has been the administrative heart of the monarchy and the official London home of Britain's sovereign. Even though King Charles and Queen Camilla have continued spending much of their time at Clarence House while restoration work continues at Buckingham Palace, the palace is still their official royal residence. Like other royal residences, it does not belong to them personally. It belongs to the crown, and its use is tied to the office of the monarch rather than private ownership. Even so, becoming queen gave Camilla the right to occupy one of the most famous royal buildings in the world, whenever required. Along with her new title came greater responsibility for charitable work. At first, this may seem unusual to many, but the story behind it makes perfect sense. After Queen Elizabeth's death, several organizations that had previously been linked with the late Queen were gradually reassigned to other senior members of the royal family, including Queen Camilla. Many of these patronages involve literacy, healthcare, women's welfare, and support for vulnerable people. Camilla had already built a strong reputation through her own charitable work before becoming queen, especially in promoting reading and raising awareness about domestic abuse. Her new position allowed her to expand that work even further. Although these patronages are assigned by the monarch rather than automatically inherited, they became part of her growing responsibilities as queen consort. One of the most noticeable changes for royal watchers involved the jewelry she began wearing. After becoming queen, Camilla gained the privilege of wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. The famous diamond tiara was presented to Queen Mary in 1893 as a wedding gift, before later becoming one of Queen Elizabeth's favorite pieces. Throughout her 70-year reign, the late Queen wore it during state openings of Parliament and many important state occasions. Following her death, Camilla became the next queen entitled to wear it. Although the tiara remains part of the royal collection and does not belong to Camilla personally, it has become one of the strongest symbols of her new role within the monarchy. But that's not all. Camilla's new position also placed her much higher in the royal order of precedence. As queen consort, Camilla now ranks immediately after King Charles during official ceremonies and state occasions. Before Charles became king, she was already an important working royal, but after 2022, her constitutional standing changed completely. Whether attending the state opening of Parliament, welcoming foreign presidents at Buckingham Palace, or representing the monarchy during diplomatic receptions, Camilla now occupies the ceremonial position traditionally held by the wife of Britain's reigning king. It is a role that has existed for centuries and reflects her place at the very center of royal life. That higher position became even more visible during one of the biggest royal events in recent history. On the 6th of May 2023, Camilla was crowned alongside King Charles during the coronation at Westminster Abbey in London. The ceremony followed a tradition stretching back hundreds of years, where the wife of a reigning king is crowned as queen consort. Millions of people around the world watched as Camilla took part in the historic service, becoming only the latest woman to share that ancient ceremony with Britain's monarch. It was a moment that confirmed her place within the long history of the crown. The coronation also connected Camilla with another important piece of royal history. During the service, she used Queen Mary's coronation throne, a chair that had previously been used by earlier queens consort during their own coronations. The throne was specially prepared for the ceremony and formed part of the traditions that have surrounded British coronations for generations. Camilla did not inherit the throne as personal property. Instead, she inherited the ceremonial right to use it because she had become queen consort. It was another reminder that many royal traditions are passed from one generation to the next through office rather than ownership. Her promotion within the monarchy also gave her access to a much wider collection of royal jewelry. Like Catherine, Princess of Wales, Camilla does not personally own most of these treasures. Instead, she is trusted to wear pieces from the royal collection during official engagements. Her responsibilities also grew far beyond Britain. As queen consort, Camilla took on a much bigger role alongside King Charles in supporting the Commonwealth of Nations. The Commonwealth is made up of 56 independent countries across Africa, Europe, Asia, the Caribbean, and the Pacific. Since becoming queen consort, she's traveled with the king on state visits, attended Commonwealth meetings, and welcomed world leaders during official events. Those were all responsibilities Queen Elizabeth carried for many years, and now they're part of King Charles and Queen Camilla's roles. Even with all those responsibilities, honors, and privileges, a lot of people still wonder why Catherine seems to have certain royal privileges that Camilla either never had or couldn't inherit. That's a question royal watchers have been asking for years. The answer comes down to how inheritance and succession work in the British royal family. Not every title, jewel, or royal privilege follows the same rules, and once you understand how those traditions work, the whole picture starts to make a lot more sense. The truth about British royal inheritance. So, the way inheritance works in the British royal family is actually very different from how it works in most families. A lot of people assume that when a king or queen dies, everything they own is simply divided among their children through a will. But that's not really how it works. Some things can be inherited as private property, while others are passed on automatically under British law and centuries of royal tradition. That is why the death of Queen Elizabeth on the 8th of September 2022.
Tonight, Queen Elizabeth II has died at 96. Prince Charles assuming the throne as King Charles III, the U.S. and the world paying respect.
Changed the lives of several members of the royal family within minutes, even before any will was made public. Some inherited personal possessions, and while others inherited titles. The most important inheritance in the monarchy is the crown itself. Unlike personal property, the British throne does not pass through a will. Instead, it follows constitutional law. Two of the main laws that govern this process are the Act of Settlement 1701 and the Succession to the Crown Act 2013. When Queen Elizabeth died at Balmoral Castle in Scotland, King Charles III became monarch immediately. There was no waiting period, no reading of a will, and no court process before he became king. The famous phrase, "The king is dead, long live the king," reflects this principle. It simply means that the crown passes from one monarch to the next without interruption. The order of who inherits the throne is a little different too. For centuries, Britain followed a system called male preference primogeniture. That basically meant a younger son could move ahead of an older daughter in the line of succession. But that changed with the Succession to the Crown Act 2013. Under the new rules, if a royal child was born after the 28th of October 2011, the eldest child keeps their place in the line of succession whether they're a boy or a girl. It was a huge change because it brought an end to a rule that had been in place for hundreds of years. Although Prince George remains first in line after Prince William, because he is the eldest child, Princess Charlotte now keeps her place ahead of her younger brother, Prince Louis. While the crown passes by law, private property works very differently. Members of the royal family can personally own houses, jewelry, paintings, racehorses, investments, and other valuable possessions. Like anyone else, they may leave those items to family members through a private will. One well-known example is Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. When she died in 2002, her estate included personally owned jewelry, artworks, and other possessions that could be passed on through inheritance. These items were separate from the official property of the monarchy because they belonged to her personally, rather than to the crown. The sovereign also occupies a unique position when it comes to inheritance. This might surprise you, but here's how it works. When Queen Elizabeth passed, much of her privately owned estate reportedly passed directly to King Charles. This included personal investments and other assets she owned in her own name. Transfers from one sovereign to the next are generally exempt from inheritance tax under arrangements introduced in 1993. The purpose of that exemption is to prevent large parts of the monarch's private estate from being broken up by taxation every time the crown changes hands. It also helps preserve the financial stability of the monarchy from one reign to the next. Some of the most famous royal treasures cannot be inherited at all. The crown jewels, which are kept inside the Tower of London, belong to the institution of the crown rather than to any individual monarch. They include St. Edward's crown, the imperial state crown, the sovereign's scepter, and the sovereign's orb. These historic objects are used during coronations, the state opening of Parliament, and other major ceremonies. Because they belong to the crown, they cannot be sold, given away, or included in a personal will. Each new monarch simply receives the right to use them while serving as sovereign before they are passed to the next monarch. Royal tiaras follow a slightly different system, and that often causes confusion. Some tiaras are privately owned by individual families, while others belong to the royal collection. A good example of a privately owned tiara is the Spencer tiara. It belongs to the Spencer family and has been worn by generations of Spencer women, including Princess Diana on her wedding day in 1981. Because it is private property, it can remain within the Spencer family through inheritance. The Cambridge Lover's Knot tiara works differently. It belongs to the royal collection and is simply loaned to senior royal women. Queen Elizabeth often allowed Princess Diana to wear it, and today Catherine, Princess of Wales, regularly wears the same tiara. Catherine did not inherit ownership of it. She inherited the privilege of wearing it because of her position within the royal family. The same principle applies to many royal residences. Buildings such as Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, and St. James's Palace are not personal homes in the ordinary sense. They belong to the Crown, or the Crown Estate, and are used by members of the royal family because of the offices they hold. When King Charles became monarch, he gained the right to use Buckingham Palace as the official residence of the sovereign. Likewise, Catherine and Prince William were given the use of an apartment at Kensington Palace and later Adelaide Cottage near Windsor Castle because of their royal duties. None of these properties became their personal possessions. The right to live there comes from their official roles, not from private ownership. Royal titles are also very different from ordinary inheritance. Many people assume that a title can simply be left to someone through a will, but that is not how the monarchy works. Titles such as Prince of Wales, Duke of Cornwall, and Queen Consort are governed by constitutional rules and decisions made by the monarch. For example, Prince William became Prince of Wales after King Charles approved the title following his accession to the throne. Catherine became Princess of Wales because she is William's lawful wife. Neither title could have been left to them through Queen Elizabeth's will, because royal titles are not personal property that can be given away like jewelry or land. This also makes it clear why Catherine inherited some roles, titles, and privileges, while Camilla inherited different ones. So, what do you think? Do you believe Camilla is really upset over Catherine's inheritance? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, click on the next video that's on your screen. You'll enjoy that one too.